Every morning, the countdown begins for the markets with meticulous research and analysis designed to help you capitalize on the trading day. Beaming live from the CNBC TV 18 Motilal Oswal studio.
Good morning. You're with us here on a fresh new edition of Bazaar Morning Call. We are coming to you live from the CNBC TV 18 Motilal Oswal studios. And I think we're basically counting down to the end of the year. 19 trading sessions left to wrapping up 2025. It's getting quieter, both globally and, of course, here in India. It's been sideways and very, very quiet. I'm Prashant. With me, my colleagues Nigel and Suri. Guys, morning.
Hi, morning.
Hi, morning, folks. So once again, global picture is pretty okay. Not too many wild headlines. Obviously, the all-important visit, Russian president in the country, President Putin's visit is going to be highly tracked. But from the market perspective, I think we need to get over some of our own internal issues. Rupee, FPI selling, that's still a bugbear.
Well, that's right. Even I was counting down to the end of the year, and then suddenly the JSW Steel deal came out of nowhere, woke me up and kept me busy all last evening. But we'll talk about that as well. Big deal coming in there, not just for the company, for the industry and for the nation as well, because you get $2 billion of money that's coming in from the Japanese partner.
And it is a CNBC TV exclusive.
True that.
Which has been confirmed with the deal which has happened. So I think, there is that as well. So double dhamaka. We'll talk about this, as Nigel said, in greater detail as we move forward. But let's just quickly run you through what you need to know as we begin a new trading session. So US equities higher and, labor data came through. The private payrolls number came through, and that's fallen short of expectations. It's reinforced expectations of a Fed rate cut in December. I mean, it's, I think, by now like a foregone conclusion that next Wednesday, the coming Wednesday, the Fed will cut. In any case, I mean, this helped at the margin. US final close, S&P 0.3% higher. Nasdaq was up, just a little bit by close. Now, the ADP private sector employment fell by 32,000 in November. The consensus was for a dip of 10,000. So weaker labor market, furthering hopes that maybe there is a rate cut coming. 10-year yield was down 3 basis points to just around 4%. Oil, went down 1%, went up 0.6%. So not very much here in terms of some of these macro markets. Dollar index took a bit of a dive, 0.5% lower, to about 98.86. Again, on the dollar for the last many weeks, we've not seen any movement. There's a Financial Times story, which, of course, I think there will be a fair bit written and spoken about this one, which is, of course, Trump basically publicly signaling that Kevin Hassett is the next Fed chair when Powell retires in May of 2026. The story said that bond investors are warning U.S. Treasury over picking Hassett as the next Fed chair, essentially the concern being that he's going to do Trump's bidding and cut rates aggressively and in a pretty dramatic fashion, which is not going to be great. So we'll, as I said, I mean, we'll get a lot of feedback, a lot of stuff. And of course, I mean, the question remains whether this one person, of course, very powerful, but not all powerful, the committee which sets the rate, and there are enough dissents out there as well. Just a couple of stocks, right? And Microsoft, and I'm just putting this out because there's all this talk about AI and whether the AI is, there's too much investment, etc. Microsoft, there was a report which essentially said that Microsoft is cutting back on, some sales quotas for AI products. Microsoft denied it, and the stock recovered from the lows. After our Salesforce reported numbers, and they reported a better outlook as well, and shares are up 6%. Just tying in the levels, the Nifty yesterday basically broke the 20-day moving average and pretty much is sitting on the 20-day. 25,942 is the 20-day now. And yesterday's candle is basically crisscrossing the 20-day, and we are slightly above it. So that's a support on the Nifty Bank. 58,848 is the 20-day moving average for the Nifty Bank as well. GIFT Nifty gives you a quick sense of how we're likely to start, and we'll pick it up from there as we move forward. 56 points lower is what you have. F&O positioning, what's it looking like? Nigel, over to you.
Well, it was good to see the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank go ahead yesterday and defend the 20-day MA. And today we have the sensex weekly expiry that will play out. So that will add an element of volatility towards the end of the trading session. On the global front, two positives are that the dollar index is very, very well behaved. Good for emerging markets, good for India as well, though we've not got our share of the flows. And Brent crude prices as well are closer at around $60 per barrel. Cannot ignore both these two positives. That's positive from a longer-term perspective. The FIs, they continue to sell. We're getting used to them selling closer to 3,500 crores odd. You'll want that number to come down as we saw a couple of weeks ago. Net, though, the institutions, they are biased because the DIs, they make up what the FIs are selling. Moving to the futures data then, you have the FIs that have added shorts, both on index futures as well as on stock futures, and there is some unwinding of long positions. So in a market that's stabilizing or consolidating, you want shorts to get into the system because at some point of time, these shorts may not get followed through on the downside. That's the optimistic way of looking at it. So you'll want some shorts in the system, and if you wanted that, you've got that up for you in the screen. In fact, in the last few trading sessions, if you pull up a chart, the FI short positioning, that's moved up from close to around 87,000 contracts odd. That's moved to around 1.1 lakh contracts. So effectively, it's up by close to around 25%. The short positioning from the FIs, and you wanted shorts in the system, that's what you've got. The clients on the flip side, they have gone ahead and they've added long positioning. So that's up by more than 50%, from around 55,000 contracts. Now they're at around 93,000 contracts. FIs net short, clients net long. That's a combination, actually, that normally spells better times. But let's tell you about the other data points then. The PCR, well, that's, come down a little bit. And yesterday, the market ended low. The index, the India VIX as well, that cooled off. You don't want the VIX to spike up, and that's precisely what's taking place. Let's run you through some of these data points now. The call writing, that's come back, which is the reason why the PCR has come down. So you get aggressive call writing, both at the 26,000 call, 26,100 call, close to around 80 lakh shares getting added there. So let's punch in the levels. You've got a broad range. Downside, 25,900. That tallies when yesterday's low. And on the upside, the recent high as well. So that's the broad range that you're looking at in terms of support. 20 DMA and yesterday's low. That's important to track. And the Nifty bank as well, you'll want to defend the 20 DMA. So that's the important mark. A stock that I'll be looking at actually is JSW Steel because, it was a CNBC TV 18 exclusive. But going by the detail that the management had put out, till the time the market shut, the street was working with an enterprise value of around 35 to around 37,000 crores odd. However, the enterprise value is much higher. So this stock will react positively to kickstart trade today. That's a stock I'll keep on my radar.
Okay, JSW Steel absolutely is going to be on our radar. Let's see if the market is more convinced now that we have more details emerging from that JSW Steel JFE tie-up for Bhushan Steel and Power. Moving on, Asian markets actually are a bit of a mixed bag this morning. Of course, there is some amount of optimism that's coming in from Wall Street. The hope that we will indeed get a Fed rate cut when the Fed meets for the last time this year next week. But there's also some profit taking in some of the regional markets. Like you're saying, Japan's doing very well. It's up about 1%, 1.5%. And by the way, let's not lose sight of silver. It's now closing in on the $60 handle, 59 to 60 almost. Was hitting yet more fresh records yesterday in overnight action. For the time being, let's actually look at the equity call of the morning. Aditya Suresh of Macquarie says, following a steep 25% underperformance against MSCI EM, so far in 2025, they are revisiting the building blocks of their top-down market view. They've turned more constructive and expect relative performance to be driven by a revival of India's earnings growth and, in turn, a resumption of foreign inflows after a 5-year hiatus. He adds that further top-down support comes from India serving as a hedge on the intensifying global AI theme and a thawing of US-India relations. So that's a view coming in from Macquarie that India is emerging as a bit of an anti-AI trade, as well as, of course, there's hope that earnings will pick up, driving FPI flows next year.